All right, guys. When you get started, building, the one thing you have to understand is the plans. Let's get into it. All right, guys, this is Emmett Stallworth, the Alpha Builder, and I'm going to go over the just when you're getting started, certain things you got to go over, certain things you got to do. But the one thing that you have to make sure you have in your head, and one thing you have to understand, is those plans. The name of the game is you have to build that structure on paper first. Once you got it figured out on paper, and once you got those plans figured out, then that will help you guide and instruct everybody that comes in on that site, because you have to have a full understanding of everything that happens on that job site, especially when it comes down to the framing. Now, here in the state of Alabama, you're responsible structurally for that job, that residential home, for at least 7 years. You guys are going to have a lot of different subcontractors that's coming in that site. And when things go wrong, if lawsuit starts, getting shot out to everybody, you're going to be in there. You're going to be listed as one of those people that they're going to deal with. Now, even if your framers have general liability insurance, that's just not going to stop people from holding you accountable as the builder for that particular job. They're going to hold you accountable for the most part because you hired the framer. So this is why it's very important, guys. Although I'm not out here doing any of the framing work, I need to understand that. And not only that, guys, structurally, you got to make sure that house is structurally sound so things don't collapse. And typically it's not going to collapse within the first 7 years. But, overall, the house is, in most cases built to last at least 30 years. That's when you got a 30-year mortgage. But, you got houses that's here well over 100 years. And you need to make sure that thing is framed properly. Or you need to make sure that you force accountability. And when I say force accountability, I mean that if you have engineers that engineered certain parts, and we're going to talk about this right here, that engineered certain parts of that home, you need to make sure that they being held accountable. But the only way you can hold them accountable is to build it and make sure that everything that was done according to those engineered plans is reflected in the physical. So that means everything that's on those engineered plans was actually done according to the engineered plan. This is why you have to really familiarize yourself with the plans. All right. So let's kind of jump into this right here, guys. And guys, we're doing this together. This is a spec home that that I'm doing. I love specs to some degree. But on this particular house, we finally was able to get the rock out, guys. I ran into rock. This house was initially going to be on a basement, which means I would have had to have basement foundation walls because I hit that rock. And plus, when I show you guys the site, eventually show you guys the site once we kind of get going on this thing right here, it just looks much better to put it on a I'm gonna show you both scenarios, but it looks much better to put it on a slab versus a basement. There was a couple of challenges on this particular job site. A lot of challenges. One was is a corner lot, so you got two front yards, so you got two front setbacks, which is limiting your location where this house can go. Number two, we have field lines. We got a on-site septic, so you got field lines, so you got to stay away from disturbing those field lines. So field line area, so you can put your field lines in. So that was another thing. And then we hit rock, so that's another thing. So I have to remediate, $30,000 in the rock. I have to offset that cost. And, this is one way that you can offset the cost was with the foundation walls. The basement was probably going to cost, the walls itself was probably going to cost $30,000. So, hey, it got ate up. I thought I was going to save that $30,000 to put on something else, but guys, it's always a juggling act on building. So let's just kind of look at this right here. So guys, this right here, these are the plans. Let me see, can I make it smaller? But I want you guys to kind of get a glimpse. This right here is, this guy right here is Fristerio. They're very detailed on plans. So this is actually my first house that I'm building using a set of his plans. But he does a great job at making it detailed. I went over a lot of his plans. This is the address and everything. And guys, these plans are copywritten. So I have a lot of builders, man. What kind of frustrates me a lot is when I see a lot of plan designers. Let me just get into the, I thought I had a picture of the plans. I thought that was like the first page, but let me go just find an elevation plan. There we go, right there. You can kind of see what the house looks like. But guys, a lot of, and you can see it right here, guys, right up in this corner right here. Let's see, can I make it bigger? Guys, a lot of builders, a lot of plan designers, guys, it doesn't take, you don't have to have an architecture license here in Alabama in order to design plans. You don't have to, as long as you know how to read. I mean, I could actually draw my own plans up here in Alabama. If I had a good CAD program, I can draw it up myself. Those guys don't have to be licensed. I mean, it's good if you do have a license. In some municipalities, they all use architects, which you have to be registered as an architect. So you have to have licenses and things in commercial, but in residential, you don't need that. But this right here, like this plan is the bill for Alpha Construction. Use for bill on any other location is in violation of this plan copyright. So you got a lot of guys. I've seen this. They'll take this guy right here plans, or they'll take some plans they saw online, and they'll just redraw them. I frown on that. I don't like when people do that. I like for people to be authentic and do their own stuff. Don't take this guy plan and try to draw him or draw him up. And people understand this right here, man. You'd be better off just going straight to the guy. Because number one, these set of plans have been tried a couple of times. They have found the flaws and things like that, and they have perfected these plans. And the more it gets perfected, then when you get out there on site, it makes things much easier. So you don't have to undo things or figure this out. Guys, you don't want your subcontractors really to be having to try to think about too much. Because I'm being honest with you guys. When it comes down to thinking, man, I mean, I'm not saying that they can't do it, man, but you don't want them to have to do too much thinking, man. It's just going to make, it just makes things bad. So these are the plans right here. This is the front elevation. But the first thing you guys want to do, and guys, I actually teach a plan design class in my at the junior college, which I think junior college is probably the way to go. But if you look at these plans right here, I'm just kind of looking at this right here. One thing that I really try to focus on is things like the details. Like I actually had him to draw these right here. This right here is supposed to be done on a monolithic slab. Now we're going to have to do it on a stem wall slab, which means that because of the elevation on that job site, we got a change in elevation of about 3 feet. So a monolithic slab is just not gonna, if we did a monolithic slab, there's just too much change in elevation for us to get this, because this is about what is this right here, 16 inches, almost 2 feet right here. We got much of a change in elevation on that. So we're gonna have a step down footing. So I will have to get a detail on that so that I can turn into the inspection department. But these are the things you want to look at, guys. You want to look at things like this right here, the details, exactly what it's telling you. in certain areas. You gotta keep this stuff in mind. So I'm looking at this right here. I'm trying to familiarize myself so that when I start engaging with these guys, I know exactly what to tell them, or exactly how things are gonna go. So now, this right here is the footing. So you can kind of see where the footings go. This is an exterior fireplace, a firebox. Now on the exterior, this is a patio, by the way, guys. And this is going to be a real full masonry fireplace, exterior fireplace. And you notice he said that this right here slab is gonna slope. Now, here's one thing that I can do to make sure I do and just knock it all out the way. All of this right here is gonna get poured. This is your slab. And it's gonna probably take about 2 weeks to get all this in. But we're gonna pour this whole thing right here, guys. Got a little grilling deck right here. But you can go ahead and pour the sidewalks. I mean the not the sidewalks, but the patio stuff as well. You can we can go ahead and pour all of this. All this right here, I can pour all of this. I can pour the front stoop. I can get all this right here poured at one time, which will probably be the way you want to do it, guys. You want to get this poured all at one time. I may even leave that front stoop off since there's something else going on there. But everything, most of this stuff right here, especially this patio back here, can get poured. I'm looking at all the load-bearing walls. Right here, we have a load-bearing wall. And right here, you call these grade beams. So these are my grade beams. These are grade beams. Now, the footing is going to be one continuous all the way around the exterior of it. We're going to pour that footing, as well as I'm going to pour a footing right here. Right here. All right here is going to have footings. So we're going to pour all this right here. And I poured all the way around this garage right here to make sure I get that in. Then all this right here be poured. So we'll pour all of this. I pour this. Everything will be poured except for this grade beam here, that grade beam, that grade beam. When I'm talking about the footings. And then we'll build some blocks. So we're going to have some blocks all the way around this thing. And then we'll come back and pour the slab. So that's the plan on this right here, guys. So kind of give us details right here. Tell us, let's see if I got it right here. It says 4-inch concrete slab, 6 mil vapor barrier. Now the code, guys, people who went to the 2021 code, unless those municipalities did some, unless they did a omission of that part in the code book, you're supposed to use 10 mil vapor barrier. I'm gonna reach out to the building official just to make sure we're good on that. Porous stone, over compacted, termite treated. So I don't usually like to use that kind of termite, treat the ground itself. I usually like to come in and do that Centricon. I don't like putting poison on the ground, but I may do that this time. Because right now I did mine like that, and I had to pay these guys once a month. Good Lord, just to keep that termite bond going. So this is what the foundation looks like. Familiarize yourself with the foundation, which means that we don't have any girders or floor joists or anything, so we can get out of that. So this is another thing that I'm getting out of that's going to help me too. So I'm gonna get out of the first floor, so I don't have to pay the lumber for a first floor. So first floor, concrete walls, guys, that's about $40,000 right there. And typically, if you had to do a first floor, it's gonna be engineered. So I'm getting out of that, so that offset the amount of money that I'm spending on just getting that site prepped up and getting it ready. And guys, you want to get those. I tell you, those excavating guys. They will stay there. You have to almost run them off. They will sit there, man, and they would just ride on your time. I mean, they would eat you up. And that's another thing, guys. You can't control them guys. When them guys at your site, rock chippers and excavation guys, your site is getting out of control. You got to hurry up and get them guys out of there, man, because before you know it, man, your money and your profit and stuff will spiral out, and you won't be able to make anything off of that job. So you got to get those guys out of there. Okay, so that's that, guys. So the next thing you want to do is you want to look at your engineered stuff. Maybe I can pull some of these things over here, guys. This is I'll tell you. Let me just see if I can pull it over here as well. I can pull it over here. So think this right here is the floor system that I want right here. Yeah, this is the one I want. So this is for the garage. And part of I'm gonna just stick it right here. I don't know if I can get it in here very good, but guys, this right here is oh man. The only thing I'm struggling with this right here, guys, because this is kind of new for me. So I'm trying to get it in here. Maybe I can just do it like that. It's not letting me play with it like I want to. But we can come here. And as I go, I'm just going to pop these guys out. But I got to leave the regular set of plans in here so you guys kind of see what's going on. So, guys, you want to study these plans, man. And I tell you what, I'm going to look at these things right here. You got to get an understanding. So these right here are if you can kind of see this right here is your engineered I-joist system. All right. And these right here running here, it tells you FJ7. So that gives you that particular LVL. I'm sorry, not LVL beam. It does have some LVL beams in here, but I-joist. So it tells you those I-joists. Right here, it tells you these are the particular LVL beams that's running. That's the engineered stuff. What else we got here? I'm sorry. That may be LVL beams, but we can come over here and we can actually look at it, guys. So you can actually, let me just see, can I find a little area? So it has a legend here where you can actually come here. Right here is what we want to look at right here. So right here in this area here, it kind of tells you what goes on each one of those beams. So that particular beam, if I look at it, so let's just say, for instance, we're dealing with this guy right here, FJ13, and you're going to have two of them, looks like. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to find FJ13. There you go right there. FJ13 is a 16-inch. I don't know what this right here means, but it's 24 feet long. And then you got two of them. All right. So it kind of gives you that. I'm trying to look for right here. Then you can come right here. These are things you got to kind of know, guys. Like right here, FB8. Looks like you got three of them. So I'm going to go to FB8. I'm going to go find that guy over here. FB8, well, it's two of them. I'm sorry, it's two of them. And they're going to be FB8. They're going to be, it's two of them. And this is how thick they are. This is the height of them. And it's this is a lamb beam. So this right here is engineered like an LVL beam, laminated veneer lumber. That's what that is right there, guys. So you got those right there. So these right here are I-joists here. They may be a little bit thicker, but this right here are lamb beams. And then we know that right here, looks like we got 1, 2, 3 beams is going all the way across here. And you got hangers just attached to this big old beam that's going across here. This right here is carrying a load. So that load is going from here all the way to here. And looks like you got 1, 2, 3. So this right here is I can't see what kind of beam. Is it BK1? So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to see if I can find a BK1. Yeah, there goes some BK1s, but it says 2 of them. So this is what we got to do, guys. We got to go here, and if there's any questions, I need to reach out to the engineer and understand it, because I'm not seeing, well, B4. I'm sorry. So this beam right here, these right here must be B4. So let's go back over here and see if we can find a B4. Yeah. So you got 3 of them, and there's a lamb beam, laminated veneer lumber right here. Looks like, I don't know what this right here means. It's probably 3,100, I don't know, square feet per pressure, whatever. But that's not what I'm not thinking about that part. It's 18. They're 18 feet, and these things are 24 inches wide, so they're really big. That's the big boys. And these big boys, when you get over 3 ply beams, so when you get over 3 of them, they got to be screwed together. You can't face nail those. And also, guys, something else that we need to be familiar with is how you nail them, how you put these beams together. So they also come with, now this is not the right one. I got to call them and have the engineer to send me the right one, because we were going to do this house on the basement first, but I do have the one from the basement, and I'm going to show you what you need to, on each one of your beams, they're going to come with a piece of, with documentation like this right here, guys. And I suggest you guys understand this right here as well. Now, each one of your beams, let me just kind of go up here to the top, so you guys understand this right here. So when you go up here, each one of the beams, now this is not these beams, now I'm just showing you what it's going to look like. It's going to come with, it's going to tell you the beam number right here, like we was dealing with a B4. It's going to have it right here. Then it's going to, this right here is what you want to pay attention to, guys. Let me just blow this up just a little bit. Right here, where it says bearing length, this is what you want to really focus on when you're dealing with those beams. And what's that showing me, and what that's telling me. Say, for instance, on each one of your beams, if I go back to this beam right here, let me make it a little smaller here. I did another YouTube on this right here. So what that bearing length is telling me, so each one of these beams right here, so this beam right here is resting on some studs. So right here is resting on the stud. Now, mind you, when we just looked at this right here, let me see, can I go to that particular area there? Go back to that area there. So this area right here, let's just kind of look at this. Jeez, get out of here. So this area, let me kind of zoom out so you can see it. So you can see where the garage, so you can see this is the garage area right here. And we're going to go to this little place right here in the back of the house, right here, kind of right here in this area right here. So you can see that, let's see if I can get down here. That's not what I wanted. I knew I'd be jumping through my little, here we go. Oh, that's not what I want. Let me go back here. Here we go. So pick this up there. All right, so this right here is the back of the house. Right here at this little area right here. I think that's where it's at right there. That's that little point right here. These are the things that we got to get familiar with. So if I go to that point right there, oh man, I might have to do this. Yeah, let me go to this guy. This actually works better, so I can just do it like this. So I go to this area right here on this point right here. Let me raise this up a little bit. Oh man, right here is this area. So what that bearing is telling me, it's telling me that 4 inches, if I was at that particular place, it's telling me that that lumber has to sit on 4 inches of stud, thickness of studs. That's what it's telling me. It's got to sit on 4 inches of studs. One way, and then the other way it needs to sit on 3.5 inches of studs. So that's the amount of studs that has to sit on in order to carry that load all the way to the ground. This is what it's telling me, guys. And this is what we have to pay attention to. Let me just minimize this guy again. So these are the things that I'm paying attention to, guys. I'm looking at this right here. I'm looking at right here. There's a lot of weight right here. Now I'm thinking about this as well. So that's this area right here. If you see that area right there, let me see. Let me just make sure I'm looking at this right. I may not be looking at it right here. That's that guy. And we got that offset right here. And then we go right here. So that we may be looking at something else. Yeah, that's that point right there. So this point is actually looking at it. This point is the room right there in the back. It looks like this point right here. Let me pick that up right there. So I got to find out what that point is. This is what I'm familiarizing myself with. So this looks like that bedroom back there. I got to find out where all these points are going to be at. And so that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm going through this thing, and we're all doing it together. I'm going through this thing just trying to find all the different points to make sure I'm hitting these points right. So that's that offset right here. That's that offset right here. So then we go right here. This right here looks like it's the point right here. Then it jump across. You got a beam that goes across, which is this beam right here. If you can see this beam right here, that beam right there. So that's a beam right there. So this is what you got to start. This is what you got to pay attention to, guys. And this is what I'm trying to map out and make sure I understand this right here, so that what's going to happen is my subcontractors, my framer, number one, I got to make sure he do it the way this right here is outlined here. No difference, no changes. Then once I make sure, I make sure he's going to get his right. And make sure he's not deviating from this thing. Make sure the hangers are all in the right place. This is what then this right here is also going to help me count up the lumber. So I'm going to look up here. And when they drop this load on here, I need to come through here and just start counting and make sure all this stuff is there. Because the last thing you want to have is for, let's just say, one of these beams right here, like this FB8, is not put on the, if it's not put on the load and it don't get out there, you may potentially, your framers may have to stop, especially with this big beam right here, this B4 beam. If it didn't ship, or one of them didn't ship, they shipped two of them, but then they shipped one of them's missing. Is you got to check all that stuff, man, because you got to understand that when those guys on the lumber yard, and I'm not just saying that they can't think, man, but sometimes you got you got limited people, limited mindsets on these lumber yards just delivering this stuff to you, man, and they're not thinking, man, in some cases. So you got to make sure all your stuff is there to keep your project going. So I'm looking at these items right here, man. I got a couple more. So we also have this right here. See this right here? This is another, it may be the same floor. No, this is the same floor. Just let me just take that off. Close that window. Here's another one. So this is another floor right here. This is the top floor. Engineering for the top floor is right here, guys. Let's see, I'll drop it right here somewhere. So this is the second floor right here, guys. You got to kind of look at that, make sure you kind of halfway understand that. Remember, and this right here, guys, this is a set of red lines, which is really good. So this right here is the ceiling joist for the second floor. So you can see where everything goes. You got 2x8s. 16 inches on center. And man, I tell you this right here will save you a lot of money right here. Just this set of plans right here. These are called red lines. So you can see, and this is why I like this company right here, guys. This is the first company that ever just gave me these right here. And builders don't know, well, this is Brown Lumber actually doing this for me, but builders don't know how important this right here is, guys. This is like critical. Very, very critical. So it's telling me where everything goes, guys. Everything. I'm looking right here. So I got 2x12s right here. And these right here are spanning this way. They're spanning this way, and they're 16 inches on center. You can count them up. This is another, and not only that, guys, they written over here. Let me just see if I can find what I think we got right here. So they color coded right here. If your guys mess around and your framers mess around and don't get some of this stuff right, I mean, you can hold them accountable, especially if you give them a set of these plans right here. You give them a set of these plans. Say, hey, this is where everything goes. They don't have to think about nothing. You just, okay, you measure out your 2x12s. You know, you got one that's 14 feet. This is where it's going to go. Shows you where it's going to go. You can't beat that, guys. I got to tell you can't beat it. I love it, man. Then, I mean, guys, let me just close this one out. Just kind of give you guys an idea. But you need to familiarize yourself with these items, guys. I'm going to go ahead and close this guy. I'm going to keep the plans open. So you need to, you got another one right here. Let me just go right here. Oh, man. Let's grab, this right here is the ceiling joist for, this right here is the ceiling joist for the other area. I mean, I'm sorry, the ceiling joist for the other area that you're gonna use. You can't beat it, guys. So this right here is, the first one that you saw was the ceiling joist for that first floor. For the first floor, ceiling joist. And then this right here is the ceiling joist for the top floor. Okay, that's the second floor ceiling joist. So we got that. And now this right here, 2x8, 16 inches on center. Oh, man, you just can't beat that, guys. Red lines. All right. Then we also have, let's see what else we got here. Let me go ahead and take this out of here. So I'm looking through these things, and and guys, you want to go through your plans as well. Most of this stuff is engineered. You want to go through your plans as well. You look at your plans. There was one place where I saw that beam that goes across right there. They got engineered. That was that beam that we were talking about that goes across here. I actually, on this set of plans, I added a door right here for the master bedroom. I actually made this window, instead of making this window right here a triple, I made it a double, and I put a glass door right here so you can walk from the bedroom and go out here. Maybe you can sit the bed right here. I don't know. But that's what I did. I think that's give it more usable. Instead of, if you want to go out here on this balcony, you go out here, but you can just walk right out here and have your coffee and sit out here on the porch. Maybe roast you some marshmallows or something. I don't know. So you're looking at the plans too, man. You're making sure everything is working out pretty good. So there's something else I'm gonna do right here in this area with the shower door. I'm gonna make it to where you could actually just you don't have that little step right here as a threshold. You can just roll. You can just right here will be. You can just roll a wheelchair if need be, here and here. So these are little things, but we also have a set of, golly, man, I tell you what, man, these guys, they killing it with these red lines, man. You can't beat this. This right here is a red line of the roof, okay? The roof system. Roofs, especially here in Alabama, man, when you deal with these roofs, I mean, we 15, 12 pitch, 12, 12. I mean, guys, we got a lot of moisture here in Alabama, a lot of rain that comes in most cases. So what we have to do is our roofs are very steep here. It's not like if you go out, when I was in Las Vegas, the roofs are not that steep because it don't rain a lot out there, guys. But here, your roof system can be it's gonna be very steep because you want that water moving as fast as possible. You want to get on the ground and get away from that house. You need the ground, the grade slope really good. But this is giving us our roof system, and we have a set of red lines that tell us where everything goes. This is a complicated roof system, guys, by the way. But my framer don't have to think too hard, man, because all he got to do is just follow the plan. And if he called me for another if I go out here and I count up all the 2x4s and all the lumber package and make sure that all of these things right here, I think we have it. Like, I count all these guys right here up. I count all this stuff right here up. And then we got lumber. He asked me for a 2x6. But if I count it all up and it all matched up and all this right here matched up, and he asked me for a 2x6, something like that, then I know he has misappropriated something. So I can kind of, not get on him, but just try to get an understanding because, the more 2x6s I got to order, it costs me more money. You got to hold these guys accountable. So the point I'm making here on this right here video is you guys have got to get here. You got to get those plans. And you got to look at those plans. If you got some engineered plans, you got to make sure everything matches up. You got to study the plans, guys. I'm still studying. I studied it from day one, but I'm still looking at things that possibly could be a problem, things I can do a little bit better. You got to study these plans. You got to study the plans. You have to build that house on paper first, which is what we did. We build it on paper first, and then you reflect that into the world. But look at these things, man. Look at that engineer plan. If you don't have people that's doing you red lines, I suggest you guys find a lumber company that will. That's a game changer, guys. Builders. We get back on you guys. Builders, you got to understand these plans, man. You got to understand them. You just can't expect your framers to figure all this stuff out or to know all this stuff for you. And in a lot of cases, some of your framers, these plans are written in English. Some of the guys that are doing your framing, they may struggle a little bit with English. So if they're struggling with English and they reading this right here and they're struggling with reading this right here, some probably not going to get put in the right place. So that's where you come in. That's why you got to understand. If you see something not right, hey, this right here needs to go right here. This is where you need to be at. That's how you need to do it, guys. Once again, guys, like, share, subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, man. But I just want to kind of go over this right here because I'm kind of looking at these plans. I've already looked at them for the most part. Well, I just got the engineering, so I'm kind of looking at the engineering too. I'm just making sure that everything works out. And guys, I also have a hard copy plan too. I don't just have the right here. I got the hard copy. So I usually make me two set of these right here. Now, most of you municipalities now are not requiring you to have a physical set of plans, but you need to have this right here to give to your subcontractors. And guys, at one point in time, I used to laminate these right here because, I just got tired of these things getting just beat up real bad on site, get rained on and stuff like that. My subcontractors are looking for another set. So I got a set for me, and then I have a set for the framers. That's probably the main people that needs to see it. Everybody else can figure out where their stuff needs to go. Another thing I'm looking at too, so I send this right here. So I'm gonna send these right here. I'm gonna send the engineering stuff to the engineer stuff. I'm gonna send it again to the building official. Send him, make sure that he on the same page, because they're gonna look at the engineering and look at what's out there on the site, and they can read them as well. Make sure everything matches up like it's supposed to. So I'll take care of that. And I had a thought that I was gonna say, man, and I actually forgot what I was gonna say. So you just got to make sure everybody got their stuff. Make sure the building official has the engineered set of plans. You need to have a set. You need to print off another set of the engineered stuff for your framers to make sure they have it. And guys, I just go ahead and have that set color coded. I print it out in color. It's gonna cost a little money. Probably color pages cost about $8-9 a piece. Full set. So I would do that as well, guys. Once again, guys, like, share, subscribe, hit the thumbs up for me, so this right here information can be sent to builders to help these builders stay out of trouble. Because so far, so many builders just simply hand off the set of plans to the framers, and they just expect for the framers to get it right. That's what they do. They just give it to them. Hey, you go at it. Then in some cases, then you have builders that'll call me, and I go and look at them. Nah, man, you gotta get this engineered. You gotta get this taken care of. Now you gotta undo some of that stuff and get it right, especially if it's engineered. But don't just hand this stuff to these guys and not understand this stuff. At least somewhat understand these plans. All right, guys, you guys have a good one. Thanks.